Well, coming up on Thursday, the President of the United States is going to do something no president has done previously, and no one in Congress has actually been able to accomplish either. Because on Thursday, President Donald Trump is going to send out an executive order. And that executive order is going to say the following: marijuana will no longer be considered a Schedule I drug. Schedule I is heroin, folks. Heroin, peyote, those kind of things. Nasty stuff, bad stuff. But it'll now be rescheduled as a Class 3 drug. Now, Class 3 goes into things like testosterone, ketamine, and even Tylenol with a codeine prescription. That's where it's going to take it down to. Now, why is that such a big deal? Well, I'll tell you why it's a big deal. Because when you change it to a Class 3 drug, it will be able to be analyzed and worked on, and people can do studies on it to find out if it's good for other things. And frankly, to tell you the truth, it's good for a lot of things. And a lot of people will be out there telling you it's good for this, that, and the other. But for many people who are sick, marijuana helps them get through things like chemotherapy. And I know because I've seen it myself. And frankly, in that area, it does work. Now, you can argue all the rest of it going on, but I can tell you in that area, I have seen it work. Now, am I in favor of marijuana being legalized in the state of Indiana? Frankly, I am not. However, 24 states around the United States have made it into a recreational drug, and it's legal probably around 30 states for medicinal purposes. Heck, even in Washington, D.C., it's legal for recreational use. Now, granted, the Congress hasn't changed that law. It's still against the law. This executive order is not, I repeat, the executive order is not going to change it and make it legal. Sorry. You get caught with marijuana, it's still potentially a federal crime. And they say now in today's world, well, you get caught with that, you have a joint or something in your car, you're going to get a misdemeanor, slap on the wrist, if you will. You have more, they can hit you with distribution. But, yes, years ago, people were put away for this stuff. But where did marijuana suddenly become a big illegal thing? Well, it happened back in the 1930s. I think it was around 1936. A movie was developed, and the movie was called Reefer Madness. Yeah, Reefer Madness, about the evils of marijuana. Now, I've seen the movie, and it's frankly comical to me, because it shows people turning into wackos. I mean, smoking marijuana, and they're suddenly going out there doing everything you could possibly think of. From what I have seen and what I have observed, well, let's put it this way. You put a whole lot of alcohol into people at a bar, you're going to see a bar fight break out more often than not. Put a whole lot of marijuana into people in a bar, they're going to start up a band. Just my opinion. That's kind of how it is. So, Reefer Madness may have changed America's mind and put it in movie theaters. People believed, oh, this stuff is really bad, so let's classify it as a Schedule I drug, and that's what happened. But Donald Trump says, we need research on it. We need things that can be developed from it, paper, and some of the other things that the scientists can work on. But ultimately, can it be used for medical purposes? In my opinion, yes, it can. Now, as I said, I'm against the legalization for one particular reason. They do not have a way yet of being able to identify if someone is driving under the influence of marijuana. Yes, under the influence of alcohol, you bet. We've had that test for years and years and years. But in my opinion, driving under the influence of marijuana can be just, in my opinion, can be just as dangerous. Because if your mind goes somewhere else, you're not concentrating on your driving. And to me, that's dangerous. I mean, think of it this way. Would you say an airline pilot could be fine? Would you trust him there smoking a joint in the cockpit? I don't think so. Neither would I. So, the president wants to do this and change it from a status 1 to a status 3 by executive order. He has the authority to do that. Are there going to be people out there who are going to say, you can't do that and file a lawsuit for litigation purposes? I would not be surprised. But I'll tell you right now, the president says we're going from status 1 to status 3 for marijuana. And the rest of the nation, well, so many states have it legalized anyway. It may not change a whole lot in many people's lives. But now you know something going on. And unfortunately, it got political. A senator from Oregon, Ron Wyden, I think his name, said, oh, this is nothing more than a ploy, and Donald Trump's going to gaslight people into thinking marijuana is legal. No, it's not. No, he's not doing that. But once again, politics comes in. When they're trying to do the right thing sometimes, some people want to turn it into a political fight. Senator Wyden from Oregon, I don't know you, but you should be ashamed of yourself because you know better. And especially in a state where a lot of marijuana is being grown. Oregon is definitely known for it, as is the northern portion of California. But it is what it is. Marijuana is legal around the country. They've taken it up to Michigan, now going over to Ohio. Other states are legalizing it. Yes, we don't have it. But until they get things figured out with driving and finding out if you've been doing the wacky tobacco, I'm not in favor of being legalized. But remember, that's just me, my opinion. Yours may be different. But now you know what's going on, folks. Tomorrow, that's Thursday, going from a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 3. Apparently, that's what an executive order is about to do. And now, you know.